Our third speaker seems to be ready. I'd like to call the third speaker. The third speaker is Miss Ellie Mikawa from Sophia University, ESS. The title of her speech is A Visible Supporter. A Visible Supporter. So Miss Mikawa, please come up to the stage.
Thank you, Masters of Ceremonies, Honorable Judges, Questionnaires, and Timekeepers. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Right before my senior year in high school, I started to feel dizzy. Waves of nausea hit me day and night. Clouds of brain fog flooded my train of thought. I tried to explain my condition to my friends and family, but they didn't understand. You're just being lazy. That's what my friend told me. Maybe it's anxiety. That's what my doctor told me. It's all in your head. That's what my mom told me. I was so devastated. It turned out that my greatest supporter, who was my mom, was just ignorant and wasn't really a supporter at all. But were my symptoms really just in my head? No. It turned out that I had a serious disease called dysautonomia, or in Japanese, 自律神経失調症. In Japanese society, we conclude that common cold symptoms like being tired are simply just a manifestation of one's own laziness. And the beginning symptoms of dysautonomia are exactly the same as common cold symptoms. So it's easy for us to misunderstand and overlook this invisible disease. Today, I would like to talk about the existence and conscious prevention of dysautonomia. Moreover, I hope that this speech becomes an opportunity for everyone to be aware of this disease, be more mindful of even the smallest changes in our bodies every day, and to stop mistaking this disease as laziness. To begin with, dysautonomia is a disorder of the autonomic nervous system. When we're healthy, our autonomic nervous system maintains a good balance with the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems, or 交感神経 and 副交感神経 in Japanese. But when we lose that balance due to a little bit of stress and unhealthy lifestyles, mainly caused by daily unavoidable situations, we get dysautonomia. As for me, I was taking on 3 part-time jobs while studying for my college entrance exams. Dealing with your scary boss or going to frequent late-night drinking parties are some everyday triggers as well. According to the Dysautonomia International Organization, dysautonomia is estimated to impact 1 in every 100 teens, and the number gets higher as we get older due to more responsibilities and stress in life. And since anyone of any health status, environment, gender, age, or personality has a risk, the next patient could be you, your nearby loved ones, or your future children. Nevertheless, the main problem isn't just the disease itself, but rather how Japanese society views common cold symptoms as sheer laziness, despite the seriousness and how close this disease is to us. Why is this? The answer lies in how society expects us to push ourselves to the limit despite any small ailments, like our parents forcing us to go to school even though we have a bad headache, a low-grade fever, feeling weak, and etc. But like I said, dysautonomia, they have common symptoms as those common cold symptoms, the having a bad headache, low-grade fever, feeling weak, etc. Thus, almost all suffering patients like me are criticized as being lazy. However, this wrong, unconscious mindset and ignorance for dysautonomia creates a vicious cycle of misconception that sends the suffering patient into thinking like, why couldn't anyone understand me? Or am I really just being lazy? The feeling of being misunderstood was just unbearable, and I couldn't do anything while my symptoms kept worsening. I couldn't eat anything, I couldn't go to school, I couldn't do anything. Just when I thought that I would never get help, someone reached out to me. It was my mom. As she saw me clearly suffering so much, she finally said to me, "Ellie, maybe my perspective isn't right. So I tried to doubt your symptoms as something more, and I realized that my past perception was limiting me from helping you." I was so touched, and tears of joy and relief streamed down my face. My mom and I were then able to search for my symptoms, compare them to a dysautonomia symptom checklist, reach out to a specialist, and I was finally able to get my condition to be recognized. She finally realized that my symptoms of laziness were actually a SOS signal from my body. She finally gained knowledge about dysautonomia and helped me get medical treatment. She finally became a visible supporter. Now that you've known about the danger and how difficult it is to notice dysautonomia, it's about time for all of us to change our perception towards our small, invisible changes in our bodies. It's about time to view them as something more than laziness. It's about time for all of us to become our visible supporters by attaining, doubting, and taking action. We should first attain a dysautonomia symptom checklist from the Japan Physicians Association via a quick Google search. This goes the same for people who don't have dysautonomia right now, since everyone has the risk of developing it. I'm not asking for us to become paranoid hypochondriacs, but please be vigilant and doubt any small changes in our bodies, and also actively doubt the people around us, since being more aware is the key to catch the first signal of dysautonomia. But even after we start attaining knowledge and doubting, we're only invisible supporters since we haven't taken action yet. In order to become a visible supporter, we must take action by reminding others that their symptoms might not just be laziness, showing and telling them about the dysautonomia symptom checklist, and if even one of their symptoms match, direct them to a specialist. That's all what suffering patients need: awareness and emotional support. Since dysautonomia is chronic, I still live with this disease, even to this day, but my waves of nausea and emotional pain have become very gentle, and my clouds of brain fog have disappeared, and I see clear, beautiful skies every day since my mom and I both became visible supporters. Luckily, before my disease took a turn for the worse. Also, please remember that our health isn't promised. Our health is a blessing and a miracle. In order to prevent more people like me and to truly reach out to suffering and potential patients, why not become a visible supporter? Not just for others, but for yourself. You have the power to save them and possibly even your future self from the depths of despair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now it is time for the questions and answers. Mr. Sato, please.
Hey, Mikawa-san, thank you for giving a sophisticated speech. Okay, first, please tell us much more about the symptom of dysautonomia. Now I understand that the initial symptom of dysautonomia is like a cold, cold-like symptoms. But what will happen next, and what will happen in the worst case?
Well, thank you for your question. Well, I wanted to write more, and I did initially, but I ran out of space. But dysautonomia affects every part of your body, essentially. Like your stomach, of course, your brain, your bladder, your gastrointestinal, your heart. You're controlling your body temperature, controlling movement, like you sweat often while everyone's so cold, or you can't regulate that. The things that we take for granted, like our vision, like blurry vision, everything gets taken away. Like we have low-grade fevers, and there's so much more, and people just ignore that, and that's really depressing. And worst case, you just faint like every 30 minutes, which almost happened to me. And while I stood up, back again, I kept falling down, and then people were like, "Are you mental?" And that was so depressing. So I think the worst case is people not understanding you it's the worst case for the patients.
Okay. Now I feel like dysautonomia is like depression, so to a certain extent. So if you can explain the difference between.
Okay, thank you for your question. People think that it's very similar to depression, but I think there's a clear line with that. It's more mentally manifested, and dysautonomia is shown more in the physical symptoms, and then the physical symptoms affects the mental, that has the direct correlation, so that affects the brain part. So the physical and then the mental. That's why people say, oh, you have depression or anxiety or whatever.
Okay, that's very clear, thank you. Okay, probably this will be the last question. If we feel that we have dysautonomia, which kind of hospital should we go? Or do we have to have an appointment with some specialized doctors?
Thank you for your question. I think regular pediatricians, they wouldn't know clearly. So if you look up at like 自律神経失調症専門家 or that, like specialists, I think they can give you the proper treatment. You'll probably waste so much time and money. Like it happened to my parents. I put so much financial burden on my parents, going to doctors, countless blood tests. So go to a specialist. That will save so much time and money.
Okay, so one more question. Are there enough number of such specialized doctors in Japan?
Okay, thank you for your question. Probably the main purpose I'm giving this speech is because people don't know about it. Even regular doctors, like my regular doctor said, is it anxiety? Yeah, I was baffled. I think if people know more about it, research will be facilitated and more doctors will know about it and we'll have more research. So I think my speech is the first step in making all the doctors more aware of this disease.
So you mean now the number of doctors is not so?
I don't think,
not
no,
enough.
it's pretty low. It's not enough, definitely not enough.
How many?
How many? I looked some statistics up and it was only like 10% or 10-15%, which is really horrifying.
10% of the doctors are specialized with dysautonomia.
In Japan.
In Japan?
In Japan.
Okay, I understand. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sato and Ms. Mikawa. Now it is judging time.